But make no mistake, this isn't just nostalgia. This scene sets up something huge. You just know the day is coming when Dexter will reveal who he really is, and when he does, it's going to be explosive. Imagine Dinklage's character learning the truth. I'm not the dark passenger, I'm the Bay Harbor butcher. Those are my slides. I killed Trinity. I killed the ice truck killer. That moment is going to be absolutely legendary, and you can feel the show slowly building toward it. As much as the club storyline dominates the episode, there are also some intriguing side threads starting to take shape. There's a recurring mention of the New York Ripper, which feels important even if we don't fully understand why yet. The detective character, who, let's be honest, is still the weakest part of the show, brings it up in a way that makes it sound like a big deal. Could this be connected to Dinklage's character? Could he be the Ripper, now retired and living vicariously through the killers in his club? Or is it a total red herring? The show is playing it close to the vest for now, but it definitely feels like a puzzle piece that's going to snap into place later. This first section of the episode is all about tension and setup, and it delivers on both fronts. By the time we get to the dinner party scene, yes, there's a dinner party, you realize how dangerous this whole situation really is. Dexter is surrounded by people just like him, killers who think they're among their own, and the irony is delicious. He's the most prolific killer in the room, but he's also the only one who's not there to join the club. He's there to destroy it, and if anyone even suspects that, it's over. And that's what makes Call Me Red so damn compelling. Every single interaction is a high-wire act, and you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. Whether it's Uma Thurman's sharp-tongued handler, Peter Dinklage's magnetic leader, or the dangerous killers we're about to meet, there's no telling who's going to make it out alive by the end of the season. Once Dexter settles into the club's inner circle, the episode turns the dial up even further by introducing us to the other members. And wow, what a lineup. Each of these killers has their own unique brand, and the show wastes no time letting us know just how dangerous and unpredictable they are. Kristen Ritter's character, known as Lady Vengeance, makes an immediate impact. She's confident, striking, and has this calm but deadly aura that sets her apart from the rest. Unlike most of the killers we've met in Dexter's world, she doesn't kill for fun or for trophies. She has a purpose. She targets sexual predators, the worst of the worst, which makes her a fascinating mirror to Dexter himself. You can see the chemistry between them from the moment they lock eyes, and it's clear the show is setting up something big there. Whether it's a partnership, a romance, or a betrayal waiting to happen, their dynamic is already electric. The dinner party scene is where all of these personalities collide, and it's one of the best sequences in the episode. Picture it. Dexter, who's spent his entire life hiding who he is, now sitting at a long table with a group of killers openly discussing their work like it's normal dinner conversation. There's a dark humor to it all, especially when Peter Dinklage's character, with that chilling charm, insists on serving vegan food. You can practically feel Dexter's annoyance as he stares at a plate of roasted cauliflower while everyone around him talks about their latest kills. It's such a small detail, but it's classic Dexter. He's pretending to fit in, but the irony is thick. He's the deadliest killer in the room, and he's the only one who isn't actually there to celebrate murder. One by one, we get to know the members. There's the guy from Modern Family who, on the surface, seems like a normal family man, but we quickly learn he has a sick obsession with women's ponytails. Then we have Neil Patrick Harris playing a killer who skins tattooed victims. He's cocky, sharp-tongued, and already giving Dexter reason to keep an eye on him. David Dastmalchian's character is more of an enigma at this point. He's quieter, lurking in the background, and you just know the writers are holding him back for something huge later on. As much as these introductions are fun, there's always that sense of danger hanging over Dexter's head. Any one of these killers could figure out who he really is, and that tension fuels every moment. When Lady Vengeance flirts with him at the table, there's this flicker of temptation on Dexter's face. He's drawn to her, not just physically, but because she's one of the few people who might actually understand his code. Harry's voice, of course, is in his ear warning him not to get distracted, but Dexter's curiosity is stronger than ever. One of the most interesting threads in this section is the way the club operates. Dinklage's character doesn't just bring these killers together for the sake of camaraderie. He has a system, a way of connecting them with targets, covering their tracks, and ensuring they all thrive. It's almost like a corporation, with him as the CEO. This raises the stakes in a huge way because taking him down won't just mean killing one man. It'll mean dismantling an entire network that's been running for years. And right now, Dexter is vastly outnumbered. The episode also drops more hints about the New York Ripper case. The detective keeps circling back to it, and it's starting to feel less like a random mention and more like a crucial piece of the puzzle. There's a strong possibility that Dinklage's character is the Ripper, now retired but still feeding his need for control by pulling the strings behind the scenes. If that turns out to be true, it would explain his fascination with serial killers and his ability to recruit them. But the show is clever enough to keep us guessing, and there's still a chance it could be a misdirection. As the dinner party goes on, the conversations get darker. We see the killers casually talking about their greatest hits, laughing about things that should make your skin crawl. Dexter is forced to play along, smiling and nodding, all while plotting their eventual demise. There's a particularly tense moment when Neil Patrick Harris's character starts pressing Dexter with questions about his past kills. You can tell he doesn't fully buy the imposter act, and for a split second it feels like Dexter might be exposed right then and there. But as always, he manages to deflect just enough to stay in the game. And then, just when you think things can't get more uncomfortable, Lady Vengeance ups the ante. She excuses herself from the table, then deliberately leaves her door open when she goes to shower, knowing Dexter can see her. Harry's voice practically screams in his head, telling him not to take the bait, but Dexter lingers for just a moment longer than he should. It's such a classic Dexter moment, torn between his code, his curiosity, and the temptation of someone who might be just like him. Meanwhile, the episode makes it clear that Neil Patrick Harris's character is up to something. We see him sneaking away from the group, making a phone call, and later prepping a kill kit. It's obvious he has a target lined up, and the implication is that he's planning to strike soon. Dexter notices this, and you can almost see the wheels turning. He's not just going to let this guy continue his spree. If anything, he's already thinking about how to take him out without blowing his cover. By the time the dinner party wraps up, the tension is unbearable. Dexter's juggling too many things at once, maintaining his fake identity, keeping his cover intact, and figuring out how to handle these killers without getting himself killed. There's this sense that everything could unravel at any moment, and that's exactly what makes this episode so gripping. What makes Call Me Red stand out is how it balances all of these elements at once. We're getting new characters, deeper mythology, and high-stakes tension, but it never feels rushed. Every scene matters, and every interaction has the potential to explode. You know Dexter is playing a dangerous game, and for the first time in a long time, it feels like the stakes are life and death, not just for his victims, but for him. This section of the episode closes on a brilliant cliffhanger. Dexter catches Neil Patrick Harris's character slipping out of the compound late at night, clearly on his way to make a kill. Dexter follows him, staying just far enough behind not to be noticed, and that's where the screen cuts to black, leaving us desperate to know what happens next. Will Dexter intervene? Will Neil's suspicion of Dexter grow, or will this be the moment Dexter finally takes one of these killers off the board? Following Neil Patrick Harris's character out into the night was one of those moments where you can feel Dexter's dark passenger fully taking the wheel. He's no longer just infiltrating this secret society to gather information. This is a hunt. You can sense it in the way Dexter stalks his prey, methodically keeping his distance but never losing sight of him. And yet, there's something different about this hunt. Dexter isn't in complete control. He's in enemy territory now, and he knows if he's caught, it's over. Not just for him, but for anyone unlucky enough to cross the club's path. The suspense is unbearable as Neil Patrick Harris sets up his ritual. He's got a victim tied up in some abandoned storage unit, and you quickly realize just how brutal this man is. He's not subtle, not meticulous like Dexter. He's reckless and arrogant, reveling in the fear of his victims. As Dexter watches from the shadows, Harry's voice is practically yelling in his ear. "You're not here to save people, Dexter. You're here to survive." But Dexter can't stand by and watch. His code won't allow it. In a brilliant callback to the old Dexter we know and love, he swoops in at the last possible second. One clean move, silent, efficient, and Neil Patrick Harris's character finds himself staring at Dexter, taped to a table, realizing far too late that he misread the imposter dark passenger. The monologue Dexter delivers here is classic. He lays it all out. The code, the purpose, the fact that Neil wasn't careful enough to cover his tracks. It's not just about protecting his cover, it's about maintaining the balance he's always lived by. Neil was sloppy. Neil was a threat. And in Dexter's world, that means only one thing. The kill is quick, almost anticlimactic, but the fallout is anything but. Dexter now has to deal with the body and any suspicion that may follow. The society is meticulous, and one of its members disappearing is bound to raise questions. He spends the next several scenes carefully disposing of the evidence, his internal monologue running at full speed. Every move has to be perfect, every detail accounted for, because one mistake could expose him not only as a fraud, but as the Bay Harbor butcher himself. Meanwhile, back at the compound, we see Lady Vengeance growing more curious about Dexter. She senses something different about him, something that doesn't quite line up with the imposter persona he's projecting. There's a fantastic scene where she corners him the next morning, casually but firmly pressing him about his past. She asks the kind of questions only someone who's walked a similar path would ask, and Dexter has to think fast to keep her from peeling back the layers. There's this underlying tension. Does she suspect who he really is? Or is she simply drawn to him the way he's drawn to her? The episode also takes some time to delve deeper into Lady Vengeance's backstory. We learn that she lost someone close to her, possibly a sister, to a predator who slipped through the cracks of the system, and that's what pushed her into this life. It's easy to see why Dexter feels a connection to her. She has a code, just like him, and part of him can't help but admire her. But Harry's voice is relentless. "You're making the same mistake you made with Hannah. Don't get attached." Dexter knows he should listen, but it's clear that this woman is going to be a problem, not because she's a threat, but because she makes him feel something. As all this is unfolding, Peter Dinklage's character is growing suspicious. He may play the gracious host, but he's far too intelligent to miss the signs. One of his collectibles is gone, and he wants answers. There's a chilling scene where he addresses the entire group, his calm demeanor masking a razor-sharp edge. He tells them there's no room for weakness or betrayal in the society, and if someone steps out of line, they will be dealt with. You can practically feel Dexter's heartbeat speeding up in that moment. He knows that if they even suspect he had something to do with Neil's disappearance, the entire club will turn on him. To make matters worse, the detective investigating the New York Ripper case is closing in. We get a subplot where she discovers a key piece of evidence linking the Ripper's crimes to the same circles the club operates in. She doesn't know it yet, but she's brushing right up against the edge of this hidden world. There's a real possibility that she could stumble onto Dexter's trail as well, and that dual threat, internal suspicion from the club and external pressure from law enforcement, creates an incredible amount of tension. The episode does a fantastic job of building on this pressure cooker dynamic. Every interaction Dexter has with the club members is loaded with double meanings. When Lady Vengeance makes a flirty comment about having secrets, is she talking about her own past, or is she trying to draw out his? When Peter Dinklage offers a toast to the future, is it a genuine celebration or a veiled threat? The uncertainty keeps you glued to the screen. One of the best scenes in this section is a quiet conversation between Dexter and Lady Vengeance after the toast. She tells him she doesn't believe in coincidence, that everyone in the club was chosen for a reason. When she asks him why he thinks he was invited, Dexter freezes for just a second too long. It's subtle, but you can see the gears turning in her head. She doesn't confront him outright, but you know she's filing that reaction away for later. By the end of this section, the noose is tightening. Dinklage's character makes it clear that he intends to find out what happened to Neil Patrick Harris's character. and that whoever is responsible will pay the price. He gives the group a chilling ultimatum. If the truth doesn't surface soon, he will personally start eliminating suspects until it does. The camera lingers on Dexter's face as he processes the threat, and you can tell he's already calculating his next move. The final moment of this section is a gut punch. Dexter returns to his room, only to find a small package waiting for him on the bed. Inside is one of his own blood slides, the ones that were stolen from the Miami Metro evidence locker years ago. There's no note, no explanation, just that one slide sitting there like a silent accusation. Someone in the club knows who he really is. Someone knows he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. And just like that, the entire game has changed. That single blood slide in Dexter's room is the ultimate game changer. It's more than a threat, it's a declaration. Someone in the club knows exactly who Dexter is and is daring him to make a move. The moment he picks it up, you can see the shift. The mask of the imposter dark passenger slips away, and for the first time in this season, the full weight of the Bay Harbor Butcher comes roaring back. Dexter immediately begins running through the possibilities. Who left the slide? Was it Peter Dinklage's character, testing him? Was it Lady Vengeance, who's clearly been probing for weaknesses? Or could it be someone entirely unexpected, someone who's been hiding in the background this whole time? The uncertainty is suffocating. He can't make a move until he knows exactly who he's up against, and yet every second he waits puts him in more danger. The next morning, the club reconvenes, and the atmosphere is completely different. Dinklage is all smiles, but it's the kind of smile that hides a knife behind its back. He makes a speech about trust and loyalty, then casually drops the news that Neil Patrick Harris's disappearance is under review. He doesn't accuse anyone directly, but the message is clear. He knows something is wrong, and he will root out the truth by any means necessary. Dexter sits silently, knowing he's the primary suspect, whether anyone says it out loud or not. Lady Vengeance becomes the wild card. She approaches Dexter privately, and there's a brief moment where it seems like she might be an ally. She tells him she doesn't like how the club is run, that she's only there because it's the easiest way to keep hunting her targets. She even hints that she suspects Dinklage has darker motives than he lets on, but Dexter knows better than to fully trust anyone. For all he knows, this is just another test. The pressure builds with every passing minute. Dinklage tightens the security at the compound, making it nearly impossible for Dexter to slip away unnoticed. Meanwhile, the detective chasing the New York Ripper case is closer than ever, having tracked a lead directly to the town near the compound. The walls are closing in from all sides, and Dexter realizes he has no choice but to strike first. The episode culminates in a tense confrontation. Dexter sneaks into Dinklage's private quarters, searching for proof that he's the one who left the blood slide. Instead, he discovers something even more shocking. A collection of files detailing every member of the club, their histories, their kills. And in Dexter's file, a meticulous record of his entire life as the Bay Harbor Butcher. Dinklage has known the truth from the beginning. Inviting Dexter into the club wasn't a mistake. It was part of a larger plan. Just as Dexter processes this revelation, Dinklage appears behind him. What follows is one of the most intense face-offs in Dexter's history. Dinklage calmly admits that he admires Dexter, that he's been waiting for this moment for years. He doesn't want to kill him. He wants to own him, to make him the crown jewel of his collection. It's chilling, and you can see Dexter struggling to keep his composure. But Dexter isn't one to be owned. The episode ends with him making a quiet promise to himself. Dinklage and this entire society are going to burn. He's going to dismantle the network piece by piece, and he doesn't care how many risks he has to take to do it. The final shot lingers on Dexter's face as he slips the blood slide into his pocket, his jaw set, his eyes cold. The Bay Harbor Butcher is back, and the secret serial killer society has no idea what's coming for them. Call Me Red isn't just the best episode of the season. It's one of the most suspenseful episodes Dexter has ever delivered. With the stakes higher than ever, new characters like Lady Vengeance making things even more complicated, and Peter Dinklage's terrifying leader holding all the cards, this season is shaping up to be something truly special. They actually did it. Dexter. Resurrection Episode 4 just took everything we thought we knew about this season and cranked it up to 11. This is the kind of episode that has you sitting there wide-eyed, whispering, "Oh my god, they went there." The secret serial killer society, the crazy new characters, the callbacks to classic Dexter that hit harder than ever. This was the moment I realized without a doubt they've completely got me. If you've been skeptical like I was, buckle up, because Call Me Red just changed the game. This episode doesn't waste a single second, and from the very first scene, the tension is so thick you can practically feel it through the screen. Dexter is officially on the inside now, or at least that's what he wants them to believe. After 3 episodes of teasing this mysterious organization that's been lurking in the background, Episode 4 finally pulls back the curtain, and the reveal is bigger, darker, and way more twisted than I expected. It's not just some loose network of killers, it's a full-on, well-organized club for serial killers, complete with its own rules, hierarchy, and a leader who is every bit as terrifying as you'd hope. But before we even get to that, there's Dexter himself. This version of Dexter feels different, more dangerous, more reckless, and honestly, more fun to watch. We've seen him wrestle with his dark passenger for years, always careful, always following his code. But here, we get a Dexter who's sick of playing it safe. He even says it outright. "I'm done being careful." That line hits hard because you know it's true. He's ready to take risks, and that makes every single scene feel unpredictable. The episode plays beautifully with the dynamic between Dexter and Harry as well. Harry's ghost, or conscience, has always been the voice of reason, the one urging Dexter to control himself. But in this episode, Dexter pushes back more than ever. He's tired of listening to that voice, tired of feeling boxed in, and that tension adds a whole new layer to the story. When Harry tells him to walk away from the club, Dexter straight up ignores him, and you can feel the shift. This isn't a cautious Dexter anymore. This is a man who's ready to embrace the darkness and see where it leads. Then there's the moment we've all been waiting for, Dexter's first encounter with the club. Everything about this sequence is packed with suspense. From the minute he shows up wearing that dark hoodie and trying to pass as the imposter dark passenger, you know he's one wrong move away from being exposed. The fingerprint scene alone had me on edge. When the scanner initially fails, I genuinely thought, okay, this is it. He's done. But somehow, he pulls it off and gets through, and that's when the real fun begins. Uma Thurman's character is back in a big way this episode, and she steals every scene she's in. She's the one who brings Dexter in, but she's not exactly thrilled about it. The way she calls him out. "Bitch, are you crazy? You kill in the back seat and think you're ready for this?" is so sharp and unapologetic. She's dangerous, smart, and clearly has her own agenda, and I love that the show isn't spelling it all out yet. There's a constant question of whether she's genuinely trying to help Dexter, or if she's just using him as a pawn, and that uncertainty makes their interactions electric. And then we meet him, the leader of the club, played by none other than Peter Dinklage. From the second he steps on screen, he commands the room. He's not just some run-of-the-mill villain. He's this charismatic, almost larger-than-life figure who treats serial killers like collectibles. He doesn't just admire them, he curates them, surrounds himself with the best of the best, and gives them a place to belong. On the surface, it seems like a dream come true for Dexter. But you can tell, even as he's playing along, that he's sizing this man up, figuring out exactly when and how he'll end up on his table. One of the standout moments of the entire episode is when Dinklage's character takes Dexter on a tour of the club's trophy vault. This is where the show really starts blurring the line between fiction and reality, and it's chilling. We see artifacts from real-life serial killers, John Wayne Gacy's clown costume, Jeffrey Dahmer's fridge, Ted Bundy's car seat, mixed in with items from Dexter's own history. And the look on his face when he sees his trophies, the Bay Harbor Butcher blood slides, the hammer he used to kill Trinity, even the table where he ended the ice truck killer, is haunting. There's this moment where he runs his fingers over the slides, and you can almost see the weight of it all hitting him.